The penultimate event in the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship at Silverstone usually proves pivotal in deciding the direction of the coveted driver's crown. This season, however, rounds 25, 26 and 27 only injected further unpredictability into what has already been one of the most hard-to-predict campaigns in the championship's history. The top 22 cars were separated by less than a second in an extremely tight and tense qualifying session, which produced a number of the title contenders struggling to find ultimate performance. Ash Sutton's MG6 set the pace from the outset, with the impressive young charger clocking his best time on only his fourth tour, with MG Racing RCIB Insurance teammate Josh Cook initially looking to be his closest challenger. It was Tom Ingram that eventually ended up in P2 though. The Speedworks Motorsport driver was busy chasing his pole position hat-trick this season. He blasted his Toyota Avensis across the line mid-session, just 3 thousandths shy of Sutton's benchmark. Halford's Yuasa Racing's Matt Neal was the first of the main championship contenders in the order, as he hauled his ballast-laden Honda Civic Type R into P7, while stablemate Gordon Shedden slotted into 10th. A further 4 top guns struggled around the 1.64-mile national layout, with Silverline Subaru BMR Racing duo Colin Turkington and Jason Plato down in 15th and 16th. Team JCT 600 with Gardex endured a tough session, with championship leader Sam Toroff clocking just the 17th fastest time, while Rob Collard managed only 25th. Both MG Racing RCIB Insurance drivers had a fight back on their hands after setbacks off the line, with Sutton losing first spot to a fast-starting Ingram and Cook being demoted to fourth by Andrew Jordan's Pertec Racing Ford Focus. Adam Morgan's Mercedes and Rob Austin's Toyota traded places during the early running too, as battles kicked off all the way down the order. Back out front, the MGs were beginning to make back ground. Josh Cook charged through past Andrew Jordan for third on the way into the stadium, before a robust effort saw the Ford back ahead coming out of Brooklands. Jordan wouldn't stay ahead for long though, as Cook made his move stick at the start of the next lap on his way into Maggots. Sutton was next to make his move on lap 8, as he'd made his way onto the bumper of Ingram's Avensis. A good drag down the pit straight saw the MG alongside, and the move for the lead was complete at Copse. Changes were in the offing all the way down the field, highlighted particularly by 3 championship contenders fighting for positions outside of the points, with Sam Toroff, Rob Collard and Matt Jackson swapping paint for much of the contest. Once one MG had made its way past Ingram, the top 4 bunched to within a second of each other, giving the other MG an opportunity to skirt past Ingram for P2. Julie Cook seized his chance on lap 12 into Maggots and Beckett's and sealed it along the Wellington Straight, or so he thought. It took contact at Brooklands to settle it, the MG man coming out on top to make it a 1-2 for the 888 squad as things stood. Meanwhile, Team Hard's young gun Jake Hill was going well inside the top 10, fending off the attentions from a number of contenders, including Honda's multiple champions Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden, before both Halford's Yuasa Racing machines suffered punctures. Neal after contact with Moffat, meaning Hill was eventually able to secure 5th. The MG duo came home in formation with Tom Ingram in tow. Post-race, however, both were disqualified for a technical infringement due to their rear wings being outside of the allowed tolerance. This handed victory to Ingram, while both Sutton and Cook would now start the second race from the back of the grid. Jordan held on to a net second after the disqualifications ahead of Rob Austin and Adam Morgan, who had both enjoyed an eye-catching battle throughout the 22 laps of racing. BKR's Aaron Smith claimed 6th ahead of 2 stellar drives from a couple of BTCC's big guns. Rob Collard took 7th after scything his BMW 125iM Sport through from 25th on the grid, while Colin Turkington blazed a trail from the rear of the field to grab 8th for Silverline Subaru BMR Racing. With the MGs demoted, Ingram inherited pole position for race 2 and made the most of it with a strong start, fending off the attentions of 2013 champion Andrew Jordan in the opening throws. The Motorbase man applied bucket loads of pressure in his battle for the lead over the course of several laps as a string of cars concertinaed behind. Morgan and Jake Hill used the congestion to get a jump on Austin into Brooklands, with the Wicks Racing man then making a break towards the lead pair as the field began to spread a little. Eventually, Ingram's valiant defence was broken. Jordan storming down the inside at Beckett's on lap 8, a blinding move that the Speedworks Motorsport man could do little about. Ingram wasn't going to go lightly, but with Morgan following closely behind, Along the Wellington Straight, his second spot was usurped. Holding third then became the priority. Back into the complex on lap 9, and it was the lead Subarus of Turkington and Plato right at it either side of Rob Austin and battling down the pit straight with no quarter given in the hunt for 5th. It was typically tough touring car racing from the decorated pair. A lap later, and Hill was the target for the charging Lavorgs at the same spot. Plato following Turkington through as the duo headed up the road and after Tom Ingram. The leaders made a break for it over the closing stages, while Ingram found himself under close scrutiny from the lead Silverline Subaru BMR racing machines. A staunch defence saw him take the checkered flag in an impressive third, while Jordan hammered home his authority on race 2 by keeping Morgan at arm's length to take the win, despite a late safety car period throwing a spanner in the works. Matt Jackson brought home his newly liveried Ford Focus in 6th place, having scythed his way through from 17th on the grid, aided by an unfortunate late puncture that took out the impressive Jake Hill. Rob Collard was on the softer tyres and snatched 7th place in the WSR BMW, but he was pressured home by Gordon Shedden in the factory Honda Civic Type R. Shedden's epic drive was further rewarded with reverse grid pole for the final contest. Reigning Dunlop MSA British Touring Car champion Gordon Shedden then set himself up as a major proponent in what's sure to be an incredible title showdown at Brands Hatch after the Scotsman claimed victory in a thrilling finale at Silverstone. Off the line, Rob Collard blasted his BMW into the lead as the rear-wheel drive machine launched by Shedden's Honda Civic on the run down to Copse. Quick-starting Matt Jackson got his race 3 off to a flyer and drew alongside the Halfords racing man and looked to be through into Beckett's. Late braking and a good drag down Wellington Straight, though, saw him hold on to second by the skin of his teeth. A lap later, and the lead was the Scotsman's. At the same spot, he produced a stunning overtaking manoeuvre to find a way past Collard's BMW. Late on the anchors and squirreling around the outside of Beckett's after riding the Maggots curb, he blasted away down the straight and into the middle distance, the Civic on song. Another move on lap 3 at what proved to be the most effective passing point on the national circuit over the course of the weekend gave Matt Jackson another title tilt because he had a shot in the arm as he made his way past Collard. Shedden's consummate performance, though, saw him win commandingly and fire himself right into the heart of the title scrap. The Subarus of Colin Turkington and Jason Plato got the better of Tom Ingram in the battle for 4th, but 2 of those 3 would suffer late heartache. Ingram went out with a blown head gasket. Plato limped home in 12th with a puncture. 4th, though, was Turkington's, keeping his title credentials firmly intact. Championship challengers Matt Neal and Sam Tordoff were next in the order, after the former had carved his way through the field. When Neal's Honda cruised onto the back of Tordoff's BMW, there was little resistance from the WSR man, as the points leader determined that discretion was the better part of valour. Ash Sutton and Josh Cook bounced back from their earlier disappointment to score top 10 finishes as they sandwiched the duelling Andrew Jordan and Aidan Moffat in 7th and 10th respectively. Tordoff leads the standings from the Honda duo of Shedden and Neal, but incredibly the title will be contested by an unprecedented 8 drivers on the final day of the season at Brands Hatch in 2 weeks' time. Collard, Jackson, Jordan, Turkington and Plato are the other drivers all in contention to claim the most coveted prize in British motorsport. The man leading the way spoke to Louise Goodman following the remarkable extension of his slim championship lead from 5 to 11 points come the end of the day's action.
Well, Sam, 2 11th place finishes and a 6th. Doesn't sound like too much to shout about, but the good news is that you've actually increased your championship lead over the course of the weekend, haven't you?
Yeah, 6 points we've increased it by, which, to be honest, I'm surprised about because it's been a difficult day. Various things have gone wrong, gone against us. It was always going to be tough for coming here anyway with 75 kilograms on board. So we've had a difficult day, but I think so have a lot of people, and we find ourselves with a nice little cushion to Brands Hatch. Not enough as I would want, but a cushion nonetheless, and 11 points that people have got to catch me by. So
we're all set for a championship showdown when we get to Brands. That's just how we like it.
Yeah, I think 8 people can still win the championship mathematically, which is fabulous. You know, great for the championship and great for everybody involved. I think from my point of view, I'm fairly relaxed about it. Nobody expected me to win. Nobody ever thought I'd be at this far at this point in the season. So the pressure's on those guys. That they've won it before. Everyone expects them to win.
And what a circuit to be racing at. I mean, the full Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch, it's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my favourite circuit. I'm not just saying that, that really is. The Grand Prix circuit, Brands Hatch, is full of history, steeped in history. Great undulations out the back, some really fast blind corners, and it really is a proper driver's circuit, and I love it. I've gone well there in the past, and I'm hoping the BMW will go there well as well.
Proper driver circuit, but it's a proper old school spectator circuit as well, isn't it? Fantastic atmosphere there.
It is, and you can sit at the top of Paddock Hill and basically see the whole of the Indy part of the track. So the fans really do get a lot of action, and they can see so much of the race. Or you can obviously walk into the woods and see the high-speed section. So it's a really cool circuit with an amazing blend of everything, and what a fitting way to finish the championship.
And there are going to be a lot of emotions running up and down the pit lane when we get there, aren't there? What are yours going to be like? Do you know?
I don't have any emotion, which actually helps. No, I'm quite chilled out about it. I'm not high, but I'm not low, and I think in situations like this, that's probably a good thing. I don't really feel the pressure, to be honest. I think it'll be fine, and I think whatever happens, I've had my best year to date. If I'm robbed at the final hurdle, so what? It'll still be my best year to date, and I've got 20 years on some of those boys chasing me, so there's plenty of life in me yet. Well,
the guy just behind you, or second place in the championship, Gordon Shedden, is desperate to retain his title. The guy behind him, Matt Neal, 3 times champion. You've got some, won't call them all-timers, but some very experienced drivers in the running to take this title from you, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got the best touring car drivers that are probably in the world, all chasing me down. So, it will be hard. There's no bones about that. It'll be tough. It'll be probably horrible to watch from my friends and family point of view. But I've got the easy job. I'm sat in the car with the destiny in my own hands. So I'm looking forward to it.
So it might be fantastic to watch from our perspective. We look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you.